Okay, here we go with the first couple of rounds of this adventure. Before I start, the rulebook states that you have to draw a treasure card out at the start of the quest for each hero, and it says you have to keep drawing until you get an item, but I'm just going to take the straight one off the top, whatever it is, and this is the one that came out. It's the Shield of Protection. Now these are very vague. It doesn't really explain whether you have to throw the item away or whatever, but this one says you gain a +1 bonus to your AC while this item is in play. Now to me that would mean that this item is always going to be in play unless something happens where you have to lose it. So that's a good card to have, which means instead of having 17 on her AC, she actually has 18. So that's a good start for Vistra. So without further ado, we'll go straight into the hero phase. Now figures can move diagonally, so she's going to use 2 of her movement to explore the edge. Okay, so we put down a tile. There's the arrows I was talking about in the previous video. That means she doesn't have to draw an encounter card. This is a doorway, so we have to put a doorway, closed doorway there, and I'll explain about that when we get to it. And we have a scorch mark, so we draw the top monster card, and it is a wraith. Now with these monster cards, here you have the armor value of the monster and how many hits it can take before it's dead. So once you get 2 hits off it, it's dead. And you have a series of events here, 2 different options. I'll explain that when it's the villain's turn, but this one, because the Wraith, has a special ability. It says Death Shriek. When this monster is destroyed, each hero on its tile takes 1 damage. So if you're going to kill this figure, you're best to do it from a distance, if you can. This is how many its attack is. You add 6 to whatever you roll, and it will do 3 damage if it hits, but if it misses you it still does 1 damage, and you get 3 experience points for killing this. Now, experience points can be used to get rid of encounter cards or level up your figure, but I'll explain that as and when it happens. So what I will do is I will pause the video here. When we come back, the monster will be on the scorch mark and we can continue with the game. Okay, the Wraith is now on the board. I'll just show you them. That's the Wraith. So that was the exploration phase. We now move on to the villain phase. There's no encounter card because you had a white triangle, so the monster gets to activate. First tactic, it says if the Wraith is within 1 tile of a hero, it moves adjacent to the closest hero and attacks that hero with a life draining claw. So it is adjacent, it isn't 1 tile away. This is a tile, so it's 1 tile away, so it will do that. If it wasn't within 1 tile, it would say the Wraith moves 1 tile towards the closest hero. So unfortunately, Vistra, you can place it anywhere adjacent and it attacks +6. So Vistra has an armor class of 18 now with that extra shield. So it's got 16 plus 6, so that is 22. So it has actually hit and it's done 3 damage. So we have to take 3 off Vistra. And she's only down to 5 hit points now, so that isn't good. So we now move on to the hero phase. So Vistra has got to try and dispatch this figure. What she's going to use is Comeback Strike. Attack 1 adjacent monster. If you hit, you regain 2 hit points. If you miss, do not flip this card over. Attack of 7 and a damage of 2. So if she actually does hit, she'll kill it. So she gets +7. The Wraith's armor class is 15, so she's got to get an 8 or more. and she's got a 13, and 8 is 21, so she's actually killed it. Don't forget, special ability, when the monster is destroyed, each hero on its tile takes 1 damage. The monster is not on Vystra's tile, so she doesn't take any damage. So the monster is dead. The card goes into our experience pool, and she gets, that card actually did hit, so it's flipped over. She cannot use it again. And don't forget, because she hit, she regains 2 extra hit points back. So she's got 2 of her hit points back, and she gets to draw a treasure card because she killed the monster. And it says, Potion of Recovery, use at any time. Each one condition on your hero or an adjacent hero, one condition on your hero or an adjacent hero. So if you or someone else has been poisoned or dazed, you can actually use this, and that action there is actually taken off. So that's handy to have. So that's the hero phase. She's attacked, she can move now. What she's going to do, she's going to move down here and reveal what this door says. It's locked. So to disable that, I've got to roll a 10 or more. So that is the end of the hero phase. We now do exploration phase. Because she hasn't finished on a tile, we have to draw an encounter card. And these are always bad. Steam vent. The floor disintegrates as superheated steam gushes into the passage. Attack each hero on the active hero's tile. So we get to attack, it's +8, 2 if it hits, 1 damage if it doesn't. So 12 and 8 is 20, so it's actually hit Vystra. This card is discarded. And she's been hit again. So it's just as well she used that attack before, otherwise she'd only be down to 3. She's down to 5. So that ends the exploration phase. There's no villains there to do any damage, so the villain phase is over. So the question is, does Vystra open the door or move over to investigate? And I think what she's going to do, she's going to investigate this place here. So we take the next card. It is an encounter. We don't do that until it's the villain phase. It's another doorway. You can play this game without using the doorways if you wish, and we see what monster she has to face. And it is a wolf. So what I'll do is I'll pause the game here. When we come back, the wolf will be on the scorch mark. I'll explain what the wolf can do, and then we'll do the encounter. Right, the wolf is now on the board. I'll just give you a quick look at what it looks like. Nothing special. What can the wolf do? It has no special abilities, but it says when it comes to it, I'll tell you what the wolf can do. So we'll do the villain phase now, because that was the exploration phase. So the villain phase is we draw an encounter card, because it's a black triangle, and it says here, Scream of the Century. If no monster is in play, discard this card. But monster is in play because we have the wolf. Choose a monster. Draw a tile from the bottom of the tile stack. Place the tile next to the unexplored edge closest to that monster. Draw a monster card and place its figure on the new tile. So we have to draw a tile here because that's the closest unexplored edge, and it's one from the bottom of the pack. Another doorway. We don't need to do an encounter because that's not one that's been revealed by the hero. This card is now discarded, but we have to draw a monster card to go on that scorch mark. and it is a Legion Devil. It says here, when placing a new Legion Devil, place 2 additional Legion Devils next to the first. You do not gain any experience for this card until all the Legion Devils are destroyed. So basically, I've got to put 3 Legion Devils right there. So Vistra is in a cack street now. She could die here. So I'll pause the game. When we come back, the monsters will be on the board. Okay, here we are back. There's the Legion Devils, ready to do some damage. So we go straight to the monster phase. Starting with the wolf. If the wolf is adjacent to a hero, it attacks that hero with a bite. Well, it's not. If the wolf is within 2 tiles of a hero, it moves adjacent to the closest hero and attacks that hero with a pounce. So it moves up adjacent and attacks with a pounce, which is less damaging. So +7. We've got 1 and 7 is 8, so no damage whatsoever. We now have to do the Legion Devils. If the Legion Devil is within 1 tile of a hero, which it isn't, so we don't do that one, otherwise the Legion Devil moves 1 tile towards the closest hero. So all 3 of these now have to move 1 tile nearer. And that ends the villain phase. When we come back, I've got a feeling Vistra is going to be in the shit.